Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden from Cartoon Apocalypse, and today I'm back with another video, but this video is on the Book of Spells pages that were released on San Diego Comic-Con 2018. Now, for those of you who do not know, San Diego Comic-Con was today, unless if you were watching this after today, which is the 19th. And we got to see a new preview of Season 4, which I already have a video out on that. So if you want to go see that video and analysis on that, then you can go watch that video. But this video is going to be on the Book of Spells pages that were shown off during San Diego Comic-Con 2018. So let's get right onto this video. Actually, before we do, I just want to say that Cartoon Apocalypse is the best place for news as well as theories for Star versus the Forces of Evil. No other channel really does what we do here, and that's why you should subscribe if you're interested. But let's get on with this new video. Now, there are quite a bit of new pages that were released, and some of them get pretty interesting. But this first page I'm going to be showing is just a collage of a bunch of photos that Star took while she was on Earth. Now, up at the top left, there's Magic from the Walls, which is an outlet, a glitter gun, some more horns, boba tea, warriors, queens, people you love even though they don't know you, a magic lookie box, tiny edible bear something. I'm just trying to read the captions of what she said. They're kind of hard to read just because this was taken from an iPhone from San Diego Comic-Con. We don't actually have like a good high quality image of it. Sugar, and then put them together with a burrito. Food that isn't corn. And then the last one kind of in the middle is boys with these and these, which she's referring to boys with abs as well as boys with skateboards, which was I thought was pretty funny. I broke out laughing when I read that. But this one is very interesting, but it doesn't really have anything that contributes to the plot, except it kind of does, involving the Magic Book of Spells. So I'll talk about the Magic Books of Spells, and if you should still buy it if it's what you think it is. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's continue on with the pages. Now, the next page I'm going to go through is the infamous Chapter 11, My Thoughts on Marco, which Star was writing down in her diary. Which, again, you might be like, oh, why is this in the Book of Spells? I'll get to that in a little bit, but let's read Chapter 11, My Thoughts on Marco. I honestly think that we've been wanting to read this for a while, since that episode came out. So, it'll be interesting to see what Star has to say here. I met Marco on the first day of school. Somehow the principal knew we'd be the best of friends, and it's true, we are, but not at first, with two squiggly underlines. Marco is very particular. He likes things a certain way. I sort of picked that up right away, so I just pretended like I didn't know what I was doing. Wow. Star knew what the heck she was doing. She just acted like she didn't know what was going on, which is very interesting. Star was doing that for Marco. I don't know why she was doing that, but it's very interesting to learn that she was pretty much just faking how dumb she was. Sorry, not really dumb, but she was acting kind of dumb. And that was all just an act. She wasn't actually truly like that. So that's very interesting to learn. Earth's a new crazy place, so I can sort of get by just acting like I don't get it. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you, diary. There's a lot of things I don't get about Earth. They have buttons you push to cross the street, and everyone pushes them many times. Why? Either the on to the next page button works or it doesn't. Imagine the little man who is connected to the other end of that button. He must be terribly annoyed. Look, this isn't my first other dimension, Kay. I get that I'm not gonna understand things right away, so I just roll with it. It's kinda cute when I don't necessarily understand things, so with Marco, I let it all hang out. I think it helps him to help me. When we're together, he sees the chaos in the world and sort of embraces it. I've never connected with another person in that way. I know what you're thinking. you naughty diary. And no, I don't have a crush on Marco. I can have a boyfriend. Not a boyfriend, but a boy who is just a friend. He can even be cute, and that is no big deal. I mean, take Marco, case in point. Totally cute, totally just friends, totally. Oh, this is the... Oh, I like this. I love that chapter. When I read it for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, this is good. Now, you have to remember, this is earlier on in Season 2. This was actually like the first episode in Season 2, okay? This was when Star first dipped down, and that was because Marco saw this chapter. So it's like, Star might not have had a crush back then, but she obviously developed one throughout the course of the season. So maybe she was just faking it in this book about not having a crush on Marco. But it's pretty interesting to read that. I really enjoyed that. I'm sorry if you're not a Starco fan, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, Tom Star sucks, but I'm just stating facts that was presented here with this book, things like that. So I thought it was funny to read Star's thoughts on Marco Chapter 11, the infamous Chapter 11 that everybody has been wondering about. So it's good to read that. I like that. Now this next one is a little bit different from the other ones, and it's kind of hard to read, so I don't think I'm going to read all of it, just because it definitely is a lot to read. And if I were to read all this, the video would probably end up being like 20 minutes long, which I don't really want a 20-minute long video because that'll take a while to edit. But I will leave this up for 10 seconds or so just for you to read it, and you can pause the video and everything. But pretty much on the right, the Earth side is explaining when Star first kind of got to Earth, and then on the left, the sad side is the reason kind of why she was sent to Earth. So that's pretty interesting to learn why Star was sent to Earth. And that was, it kind of described a little bit right after what happened with the Tom Star breakup for the first time, which is pretty interesting. We also get to see a pretty cute picture of Marco at the bottom right there. Alright. So this next page, along with this next page, is just a page that was briefly described from people who were at San Diego Comic-Con, because there's no way we can read it. First of all, the font is in cursive, which makes it harder to read, especially since it's a blurry picture that was taken far away. So there's no way we're reading this. But this is a different kind of picture, and again, I'll talk about this whole Book of Spells thing when I'm done describing the different pages. But pretty much this and the next page, these two pages are Eclipsa's guide to love. So I thought this was pretty funny. I couldn't read it, but just the way that people described it who went to Comic-Con, I don't know. It's pretty much how Eclipsa described like a love thing, how to get in love or something like that. So that was pretty funny. But let's move on to the last two pages. So this next page is a full page mural of Eclipsa. So it has Eclipsa, the Queen of Darkness, her title, and then on the right page, it's Eclipsa, the Queen of Muni, pretty much her saying, pretty much. Now this is very interesting, and it looks very beautiful, but we don't learn anything new about this page. So let's move on to the next page, which is the best page. Now this one is Star's full two-sided page mural thing. It says, Star the Underestimated on the left side. And we see Star's poem, which is amazing because we didn't know what Star's poem was, but now we do, so let me read it for you. Star the Underestimated was queen for just 4 days. Her one decision on the throne to give it all away. Which is a beautiful poem, I love that. But it's really, ooh, wow. So, is she gonna be returning as queen? Possibly. We do know that Eclipsa is current queen. We found that out in the last video, if you want to go check that out. But I really don't know if Star will be returning as queen or not. Hopefully, but this will be interesting. It would be super cool to see Star go back to Earth and live there, because why not, right? We haven't had enough Earth episodes in the recent season, so I'd love to see Star go back to Earth. So this is super cool. We got to see something really important, which is Star's poem, as well as this mural just looks so amazing. But this is super interesting, and it also kind of looks like on the circles around Star that there's hidden decoded messages, or encoded messages, I guess. So I'd love to, when I get the hands of a higher quality version, or just when the Book of Spells comes out, I'd love to run that through like a decoder and see if it spells out a message, which would be super awesome, pulling some Gravity Falls moves there. But that's it for the pages that we have seen at San Diego Comic-Con. But let's talk about the Book of Spells itself. Because, I mean, it wasn't just me thinking this, but it's like, wait a minute, I thought that this was supposed to be a Book of Spells, not necessarily Star's diary, which the last 4 pages we looked at wasn't necessarily out of Star's diary. That seems like something that would be out of the Book of Spells, but the other ones? Now, I have a perfect explanation for that, and it revolves on one of the pages that we saw from Star's diary. So the text on the top left page of the chapter 11, infamous chapter 11, says, well, now that Marco knows where I keep my journal, I'm gonna have to stash these pages in here. Not that I wrote anything embarrassing I'm embarrassed about or anything. He'll never look in here. He can't stand Glossaryck. And then Glossaryck's just like, hey. But this is super interesting. So Star put these pages in the Book of Spells because she didn't want Marco to see them. Which, I mean, obviously this was done in Season 2, so anything that might carry around to Star still liking Marco in Season 4 can be eliminated, just because, again, this is in Season 2. But it's very interesting that she stored those inside the Book of Spells, which I thought was pretty cool. So that explains why we're seeing that, which means we could be seeing more pages from her diary in the Book of Spells when it comes out. So it makes total sense why these are here. And the Book of Spells, I'm still expecting to see it as like a true Book of Spells with all the spells from Muni and things like that, just like the whole 2 Eclipsa and Star mural the pages. So I still do expect to see those in the Book of Spells. So if you're thinking, well, since we got a look at all these, is it really a Book of Spells? Is it really worth it? I'd say yes, it's still worth it. It's still going to be a great book to read. I already pre-ordered it. There's no way I'm canceling that. But I don't know. I think it's very interesting. So I would recommend it if you were like, oh, if you were having doubts, I'd still go for it, because I still believe that it'll still have books and spells and things like that. But it might not be as intense as you thought. It might have a lot of lighthearted things in it, like this infamous chapter 11, which I don't know how lighthearted that is, but less of all spells, no funny things. I think it'll have a good mix between the two. So it'll definitely be interesting, and if you're just going to hold off until you can see a video on it when it comes out in September, then you can wait and then decide if you want to buy it then. But I know I'm going to be buying it. I already have it pre-ordered, and it comes in September, so I'm pretty excited for that. But that's really going to be it for this video. This video got super long, and I'm sorry, unless if you really like listening to my voice for, I don't know, 15 minutes straight. I don't know how long the video is going to end up being once I edit it up. But that's going to be it for this video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video, which will be discussing the dates of Star Verses. So, ooh, that's getting exciting. I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.